He always kept his phone on airplane mode around me. One day he forgot. I heard it buzz with a message that said, "I love sneaking around with you." I texted back, "Me too. That's how I found you." I was with Chase for 8 years. We met in downtown Des Moines at a friend's game night. He was calm, steady, kind of dry with his humor. I'd just gotten out of a mess with a guy who cheated on me and left me in debt. So Chase, with his khaki pants and steady job, felt like a safe harbor. He worked IT at a mid-size insurance firm. Nothing flashy, just predictable. That's what I liked about him. I didn't want chaos anymore. I wanted peace. For a long time, I thought that's what we had. We moved in together after 2 years. Got engaged after 4. We weren't married yet, just busy fixing up a little house we bought near Beaverdale. Talking about wedding plans, maybe starting a family in a year or 2. We had routines. Saturday morning coffee runs, weeknight meal preps. We shared a joint bank account. His mom called me her daughter-in-law already. But there was one thing that never felt quite right. Chase always kept his phone on airplane mode around me. Every single time we were together. He said it was to unplug from work, to stay present with me. I didn't push it. I believed him because I wanted to believe him. I'd spent years trying to trust again, and I told myself I had no reason to doubt him. Until one Tuesday night in late March. We were sitting on the couch, eating leftover pasta, watching reruns of The Office. He was laughing at some dumb joke, and his phone was on the coffee table. Usually, it would just sit there like a brick. Silent. But that night, it buzzed. A soft, clear buzz against the wood. I stopped chewing. I looked over. And I saw it. A message lit up his screen. "I love sneaking around with you." My whole body went cold. He didn't notice me. He was still chuckling at the TV. I stared at the message, not moving. After a few seconds, I picked up his phone. My hands were shaking. It wasn't locked. That idiot never thought he had to. I tapped the message and saw a full thread with someone named Melissa. There were pictures. There were plans to meet up. There were hotel names, even dumb pet names. He called her Lissy. She called him my dirty secret. Worse, they talked about me. She really has no idea. She still thinks you're the perfect fiancé? It's almost too easy. That was the moment something inside me broke, but not in the crying, helpless way. It was a quiet snap. I felt it. And I knew I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to throw the phone. I wasn't going to confront him. Not yet. Instead, I typed a reply, "Me too. That's how I found you." And I hit send. A minute later, he looked over. Saw his phone in my hand. Saw the screen. His whole face went pale. "Allie," I stood up and walked out of the room. I didn't say a word. He followed me into the kitchen, stammering, trying to explain. I looked him in the eye and said, "Don't. Just don't." Then I grabbed my keys and left. I went to my sister's place on the east side and told her everything. I spent the night on her couch, clutching a pillow so hard I thought I'd rip the seams. I didn't cry. I didn't sleep much either. I just stared at the ceiling, thinking about the years I gave him. The money, the trust, the way I let my guard down. The way he looked me in the eyes every night and kissed me goodnight knowing he was cheating. By morning, I had a plan. I wasn't just going to leave him. I was going to make sure he lost everything. That next morning, I called in sick to work. I needed the day. Not to cry, not to hide, but to start digging. I drove back to the house while I knew Chase would be at work. He left at 7:30 a.m. every day like clockwork. I still had my key. I walked into our home. The one I helped renovate, paint, decorate, and I went straight to the office. That's where we kept our files. Bank statements, tax records, credit card bills. I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with. And I'm glad I did, because that's when I found the second betrayal. He had another bank account. One I never knew about. He had it under his name only, at a credit union I'd never even heard of. I found the bank mail buried under some junk mail. That account had nearly $19,000 in it. He'd been slowly moving money out of our joint account, $200 here, $500 there, for almost 2 years. I felt sick. This man wasn't just cheating with his body, he was cheating with his wallet. Stealing from the life we were building so he could stash money for, what? A life with her? An escape plan? I took pictures of every single statement with my phone. Then I went into the closet. I took my important documents, birth certificate, passport, social security card, and all the jewelry my grandmother had left me. I packed a small bag and left. I didn't call him. I didn't text. But I wasn't done. Over the next few days, I started collecting everything. I logged into our shared cloud account and downloaded copies of his messages and photos. He never thought I'd be tech-savvy enough to check the backup settings. But I was. I got all the messages between him and Melissa. I got the hotel receipts, the emails, even a few recorded calls. He'd forgotten those were backed up too. I had enough to ruin him, but I wanted to be smart about it. I met with a lawyer. I wasn't married to him, but our names were both on the mortgage. I explained everything. She said it was going to be messy but doable. She helped me start the process of forcing a home sale. I wasn't going to let him keep the house we built together while I walked away with nothing. Meanwhile, I played it cool. I didn't block him. I didn't respond to any of his messages. He sent them daily. Begging. Apologizing. Then blaming me. Then back to begging. Melissa stopped texting after that one message. I think she figured it out quick. But here's where it gets worse, because life always finds a way to twist the knife deeper. One of my friends from work, Rachel, pulled me aside and said, "I saw Chase last month. With a woman. At Java Joe's. Holding hands." I blinked. What? She nodded. I didn't think much of it. I just thought maybe it was a cousin or something. But they looked close. That's when I realized this wasn't new. This wasn't a slip-up. This was a second life. And, if that's what he wanted, I was going to make damn sure that life fell apart right in front of him. I started watching him. Not in a stalker way, but I knew his habits. His routines. And now that I wasn't living in the house anymore, I had nothing but time and rage to keep me going. I found out where Melissa lived by looking through some of the receipts I'd pulled. He'd used a car service app to visit her a few times when his car was in the shop. One of the receipts had her address on it. She lived in a rental condo on the west side, close to where Chase's office was. I waited in my car down the street one Friday night around 6 p.m., and sure enough, his car showed up. He parked, grabbed a tote bag, and walked right into her building. So now I had proof he was still seeing her, even after all the texts, all the crying messages to me. He was still playing both sides. That's when the idea hit me. If he wanted to live a double life, I'd let him. But I'd force the two lives to crash into each other. First, I made a burner Facebook account. I made it look like a concerned friend. I used the name Aaron M. No photo, no real info. I messaged Melissa directly. "You should ask Chase about Allie. I don't think you're the only woman he's been sneaking around with." She saw the message within minutes. Never replied. But 2 days later, Chase showed up at my sister's house. He looked like hell. Bags under his eyes, shirt wrinkled, jaw clenched. "Allie, what the F*** did you do?" he said the moment I opened the door. I stepped outside and closed it behind me. "What's wrong, Chase?" "Trouble in paradise." He looked like he wanted to scream. "Melissa thinks I lied to her. She's threatening to call my job. She says she didn't know about you, but now she thinks I played her too." I folded my arms. "Didn't you?" He didn't answer that. He just looked off into the distance, jaw working like he was chewing gravel. "I want to talk. Just talk. Please." I stared at him for a long time. Then I said, "Fine. Let's talk. But we're doing it at Java Joe's. Public. Tomorrow. Noon." He agreed. But I wasn't going to meet him alone. The next day, I arrived early and took a seat near the window. 10 minutes later, Melissa walked in. I'd messaged her again. This time I sent a photo of my engagement ring with the caption, "You deserve to know who you've been sharing a bed with." I asked her to meet me. I told her everything. She didn't believe me at first, but the receipts, the texts, the screenshots, they spoke for themselves. She sat down across from me. She looked pale, stunned, but quiet. Then Chase walked in. He saw me first. Then he saw her. His whole body stopped like someone pulled the plug. "Allie." What the Melissa stood up. "Sit the hell down, Chase." He did. I let her take the lead. She asked the questions. She laid into him. And I sat there silently, watching the life he tried to juggle crumble in his hands. His face went red, then white, then red again. He kept trying to deny, but she had the screenshots too now. "I believed you when you said you weren't with her anymore," Melissa said. "You told me she was your crazy ex. You said you were done with her months ago." He looked at me. "You set this up." I smiled. "I did." He stood up like he was going to leave, but Melissa blocked his path. "You used me," she said. "You told me you loved me. And here's where it got real messy." Melissa wasn't just some woman he was sleeping with. She was his coworker. Same office. Same floor. And she made it very clear she was going to HR. "I hope your little secret was worth it," she said, grabbing her purse. Then she left. I stood too, ready to go, but Chase reached for my arm. "I'm going to lose my job," he said, voice hoarse. I pulled my arm back. "You should have kept your phone on airplane mode." Then I walked out. After that day, Chase unraveled fast. Melissa went straight to HR, filed a formal complaint, told them everything. The office gossip caught fire within hours. I didn't need to do a thing. His name was dirt by the end of the week. They put him on unpaid leave pending investigation. Meanwhile, I moved forward with the house sale. I wasn't going to let him sit in our home like nothing happened. He tried to fight me on it, said he had more invested, that he'd done most of the renovations. But the paper trail didn't lie. Half of everything was mine. My lawyer made sure of it. I posted the house online. I didn't even wait for his permission. By law, I could start the process. When he tried to change the locks, I sent the cops with proof I was still part owner. He started spiraling. I heard from mutual friends that he was drinking more, staying at some cheap motel outside town. He kept texting me, leaving voicemails, switching from sad to angry to pathetic. "You ruined my life. You don't understand how hard this has been. I lost everything because of you." He wanted me to feel guilty. But here's the truth, I did feel a little guilty. Not because I exposed him. Not because he lost his job or Melissa dumped him. But because I stayed so long. I let myself believe in someone who gave me small, quiet lies every day. Lies that felt soft and safe. I ignored the signs. The instincts. I let him convince me that peace was worth more than truth. I should have walked away years earlier. But I didn't, and I had to live with that. Still, I wasn't done. The last thing I did was send a packet. I printed every text, every photo, every receipt. I sent it to his parents. His mom, the one who used to call me the daughter she never had. She called me 2 days later, crying, apologizing, telling me she didn't raise him to be that kind of man. Maybe she didn't. But he chose to become that kind of man all by himself. The house sold a month later. I took my half and used it for a down payment on a condo. Just mine. No shared names, no secrets. Just me. The last I heard, Chase was working part-time doing IT repair out of a friend's garage. Melissa blocked him. His old company cut him loose. As for me, I'm still rebuilding. But now I answer the red flags. And I don't ignore the quiet lies. And if someone ever dares to lie to me like that again, they'll learn real fast. I don't just walk away. I make sure the ground crumbles behind me so they can never follow. You said. Next ChatGPT said. Epilogue. 6 months later, I wasn't planning on running into him again. But Des Moines isn't that big, and fate likes to mess with people. It was a Sunday morning. I was at Hy-Vee, picking up groceries. I just grabbed a bag of coffee when I saw him in the frozen food aisle. Chase. He looked rough. Beard overgrown, eyes tired, wearing the same jacket I bought him 3 Christmases ago. He spotted me before I could turn away. Allie, he said, like a sigh. I didn't say anything, just stared. He walked toward me, hands in his pockets, that old fake smile barely holding together. Can we talk? He asked. No, he nodded slowly. I messed up. I know that. You were the best thing I ever had. I didn't respond. I lost my job. Melissa's gone. My parents barely speak to me. I just stared. He looked around, like hoping for a break in the silence. Do you ever think about us? I finally spoke. No. I think about how lucky I am that I found out when I did. He winced like I slapped him. You really did ruin me, Allie. I stepped closer. Not loud. Just clear. No. You did that to yourself. I just made sure you didn't get away with it. Then I walked away. He didn't follow. I got back into my car, put the groceries in the trunk, and sat there for a second. And I smiled. Not because I was happy he was broken, but because I wasn't. Because the version of me that stayed, the version that made excuses for red flags, that version was gone. The new me? I listen now. I trust myself. And I never silence the buzz when the truth is calling. Sometimes I still get messages. Not from Chase. He gave up eventually. But from women. Strangers on Facebook, Instagram, even email. Some know me directly through people we both knew. Others just piece things together online. They write to say thank you. Or to ask how I did it. How did you stay calm? How did you not just scream and lose it? What gave you the strength to do all that? I always tell them the truth. I did scream, just not in front of him. I screamed into pillows, into the silence of my sister's apartment, into my steering wheel while parked in a Walgreens lot. But when it counted, I stayed still. I watched. I collected. I let him show his true face without interrupting. Because silence is powerful when you're watching someone dig their own grave. I didn't ruin him. He handed me the shovel and kept digging. I just made sure everyone saw. Today, I'm living in a little condo with big windows. I adopted a dog named Mags. I go for walks. I talk to my neighbors. I learn to do things on my own. Fix a leaky faucet, patch drywall, reset the breaker when the lights flicker. I'm dating again. Slowly, carefully, and no, I don't check every phone or grill every man. I don't live in fear. I just live smarter. I ask questions. I don't ignore the small things anymore. I trust myself more than I trust anyone else, and that's not bitterness. That's survival. Because the truth is, people lie. But the truth doesn't stay buried. Not forever. Especially not when someone like me is willing to dig it up and leave it right on their front lawn. With their name on it.